let's look at this set. The table below provides the prices of a movie ticket and the total number of seats in 6 different theaters: Horoplex, Complex, Cineplex, Docuplex, Actiplex, and Dramplex. If for any show of a movie, the number of tickets sold by a theater equals the number of seats in the theater is said to have earned its peak revenue for that show. Okay, so maximum revenue has been given a special term called peak revenue. We have the names of the theater, the price per ticket, and the number of seats available. Okay. First question. The peak revenue of Docuplex as a percentage of peak revenue of complexes. Docuplex is 150 into 105. And complex is 115 into 150. And we need this in percentage terms. So 150, 151. This becomes 21. This becomes 23. So I need to do 2100 divided by 23. So 9207, 30, 91. Among the available options, only one that has 91 point something is option C. So that should be the answer. Okay. Next question. If each theater ran a show with an equal number of empty seats, which theater would have had the highest revenue? Okay, this seems a little complex. Let's work. Let's say the number of empty seats everywhere. Now see, because I'm only looking for highest revenue, comparison only, instead of worrying about price per ticket in the current form, because I see all these numbers are multiples of 5. I'll write this down as 25, 23, 27, 30, 33, and 28. Now the number of empty seats, let's say if the number of empty seats were X. So the revenue obtained by Horoplex would be 25 into 180 minus X. For complex, it will, or even if I were to open this up, 25 into 18 is 450, 450, 4500 minus 25X. Then for complex, it will be 23 into 150. 15 into 20 is 300, 345. 3450 minus 23X. Okay. Then for Cineplex, it will be 27 into 195. This is complex, no? I'll do 5400 minus 135. So 5265 minus 27X minus 5265 minus 27X. Then for Docuplex, we will have how much? 30 into 105. So 3150 minus 30X. Then for Actiplex, it will be 33 into 125. Ooh. 33 into 125. 33 into 5 is 16. 500 is 16500 divided by 4. 33 into 500 by 4 is what is being solved. So 16500 by 4. So I get 4, 1, 25 minus 33X. And finally, 28 into 135. Okay. So 28 into 135 is 28 into 270 by 2. Now 28 into 28 is 784 and 729 is 27 into 27. 756 by 2. So 350 plus 28, 3780. 3780 minus 28X. Okay, these are the These are the revenues generated where we have assumed empty seats to be X. If each theater ran a show with an equal number of empty seats. Now, look at the number of empty seats that you can potentially have. The number of empty seats that you can potentially have, X will lie in the range 0 if all the seats are occupied in every theater. If all the seats are occupied in every theater, and it will go up till a maximum of 105 empty seats. It will go up to a maximum of 105 empty seats because Docuplex can have a maximum of 105 empty seats. Everywhere else, you will have you will have at least some seats filled up. Docuplex can have a maximum of 105, so everywhere else also you can have a maximum of 105 only. So given that X lies in this range, now let's see, if X was 0, we clearly see this Cineplex fellow is winning. 5265, this fellow is winning. What if X is 105? If X is 105, okay, 105 into 27. Can you see? Okay, even prior to that, can you see? If I call them Horoplex, Complex, Cineplex, Docuplex, Actiplex, and Dramplex, even from these expressions, you can see 5625 is greater than 3150. 5625 is greater than 3150. This is greater and this is smaller. Can I say Docuplex is definitely never winning? Because from a smaller number, you are deducting a larger number. So again, Cineplex, it is never winning. Similarly, for Actiplex, from a smaller peak revenue, you're deducting a larger number. 33x is being removed. So this is never winning. Similarly, for a Dramplex, 3780 is lower than this. And 27 minus x is smaller than 28x. So this is never winning. So our fight remains only between these three. Now between these three, for x being 0, we know Cineplex is winning. How about x being 105? If x is 105, Horoplex would turn to 4500 minus 105 into 25. 2500 plus 125. So 2625. And complex would turn to 3450. 2300 plus 115. So 2415. And finally, Cineplex would turn to 5265 minus 27. So 2835. Still, you can see this is around 1900-ish. This is around 1000-ish. And this is definitely greater than 2000. So Cineplex, from the smallest possible case to the highest possible case, Cineplex is winning in every iteration. And therefore, the answer to the second question in this set has to be option A, Cineplex. Next question. Let me remove all this working. Yesterday, Ramu watched two movies along with some friends in two different theaters. He watched the second movie in Horoplex. If the number of friends with whom he watched the first movie was 5 less than the number of friends with whom he watched the second movie, and the total amount they paid for tickets was the same in each theater, how many friends watched the first movie, including Ramu? Okay. I'm saying let the number of friends who watched the movie in the first theater be X. So in the second theater, X plus 5 friends watched. The price in the first theater was Y. The price in the second theater is what? It was in Horoplex, no? Was 125. So what we have been told is XY is equal to X plus 5 into 125. Okay. Now, I can get X down here and then solve and do everything. Let's see. Y is equal to 125x plus this is number of people. This is price. 125x plus 625 by x. Okay. So y is equal to 125 plus 625 by x. Now I have to find the factor of 625. Now I have to find the factor of 625, which can potentially fit here. And then y has to end up with one of the prices mentioned here, price per ticket mentioned here. Okay. If I factors of 625 are simple enough, 1, 5, 25, 125, and 625. These are the only factors of 625. If I put 1, the price would be significantly higher than the ranges mentioned. If I put 5, I'll get 125 plus 125, which will be 250, not available. If I put 25, 625 by 25 will give me 25, 125 plus 25. Yes, I have docuplex prices available. So at x equal to 25, y equal to 150, or this theater being docuplex. Let me not write that there. Let me write it here only. Docuplex is available. But we can't stop our checking here. Because there is an option cannot be determined. So let me check the next one. 125, if I put it here, the price would turn to 130, which is not available in the list. If I put X as 625, price would turn to 126, which is not available here, which is to say this is the only possibility. Number of people in the first theater are 25. Price was 150 in the second place. Number of people in the theater will be 30. But then this is 30 into 125 is 3750, and 25 into 15 is also 3750. Yes. Both these places, they have paid 3750. And yeah, 3750. No challenge at all. So how many friends watched the first movie? I can be certain 25. If this is understandable, then great. There is another way we can do it, or at least this was not the default way that stuck in my head. This is something I discovered right now. So the default way that came to my head, I shall show you. These numbers are unknown to me. Now, I know if I'm going to take a ratio, as in xy is equal to x plus 5 into 125, or y by 125 is equal to x plus 5 by x, x plus 5 by x. I know finally I'm going to get a ratio of prices. If I'm going to get a ratio of prices, again, these huge numbers are of no utility to me. What is of utility to me are these ratio numbers. So I'm going ahead and converting this 125 to a 25, y by 25. Whatever is the ratio of price here is represented by x plus 5 by x. Now I see the difference between the numerator and denominator here. The difference between the numerator and denominator here is 5 units. The difference between the numerator and the denominator here is 5 units, 5. So the difference between y and 25, has to either be 5 or a factor of 5. So trying to put ratio numbers in place of y. 23 wouldn't work. It is anyway lower than 25. 27 and 25 have a difference of 2 units. Wouldn't work. 30 and 25, yes, this can possibly work. 33 and 25 wouldn't work. The difference is 8, which is not a factor of 5. 28 wouldn't work because the difference is 3, which is not a factor of 5. So by this extension, simply by looking at this expression, I know the case was docuplex. Docuplex was the first uh, theater. The second theater was told to us was horoplex. And the price here is 150. The price here is 125. 30 by 25 is what we were reaching. 30 by 25 is what we were reaching. Therefore, we can figure out value of x and x plus 5 will be 25 and 30. This is more observational logic rather than algebraic, and this is what makes more sense to me. Okay, let us move on to the next one then. Removing this because in the next one, similar setup is used. Yesterday, Ramu watched 2 movies along with some friends in 2 different theaters. He watched the second movie in Dramplex. So the second movie this time is in Dramplex. First movie is where we don't know. If the number of friends with whom he watched the first movie was 10 more than the number of friends with whom we watched the second movie. So if we have x friends here, we have x plus 10 friends here. And the total amount they paid for the tickets was same in each theater. Which of the following can be the first theater that Ramu went to? Okay, Dramplex prices were, again, I'm directly writing the ratio number and let it be y. So we'll get ratio of y prices here, y by 28 is equal to x by x plus 10. Hopefully you realize, oh, x plus 10 into y is equal to x into 28. So y by 28 is equal to x by x plus 10. Now, again, the difference between the numerator and denominator here is 10. So the difference between y and 28 has to either be 10 or a factor of 10. Has to either be 10 or a factor of 10. Additionally, y has to be less than 28. Y has to be less than 28. So horoplex gets rejected. This is not possible. Horoplex is rejected. This is not possible. Complex is possible. Complex is possible. Cineplex. See, if I put complex here, 23 by 28, the difference is 5. And x plus 10 can work. 46 and 56 numbers I can get. If I put Cineplex as there, 27 by 28, the difference is 1, which is a factor of 10. Yes, it can work. 30 wouldn't work. Docuplex wouldn't work. Actiplex wouldn't work. Both of them are larger than 28. And Dramplex, of course, wouldn't work. Dramplex is Dramplex itself. That wouldn't work. So right now we get 2 possibilities, either complex or Cineplex. Either complex or Cineplex. Now, if it was complex, we would have 23 by 28 is equal to x by x plus 10, or x would turn out to be 46. The difference here is 5, the difference here is 10, so I simply doubled it. 46 by 56 you would get. So x is 46. We get this possibility. In the other case, 27 by 28 is equal to x by x plus 10, or x is equal to 270. If it was Cineplex, x would be equal to 270. The problem is number of seats available. In Cineplex, you have only 195 seats available. In Cineplex, you have only 195 seats available. So you cannot have x equal to 270. So this case becomes untenable. This is no longer possible. So the only case possible is the first theater is complex, and the number of people who visited this place was 56. The prices they paid was 23 or 115. And in the second place, the number of people who visited were 46. The prices they paid were 28. And now, which of the following can be the first theater that Ramu went to? The answer will be complex. In the interest of comprehensiveness, I will also do it using the equationy way I had done it. I had done the third question. So here price is 140. So x plus 10 into y is equal to 140x. But this time this will be a challenge, no? Let's see. I get y is equal to 140x by x plus 10. So I introduce plus 1400 minus 1400, and now y is equal to 140 times 140 minus 1400 by x plus 10 by x plus 10. Now y has to be one of the prices listed here, while x plus 10 has to be a factor of 1400. So first let's list out the factors of 1400. 1, 1400, 2, 700, 4, 350, 5, 287, 200, 8, 175, 10, 140, 11, 1, 12, 114, 100, 16 not, 17 not, 18 not, 19 not, 20, 70, 22 not, 23 not, 24 not, 25, 285, 56, 26 not, 27 not, 28, yes, 28 and 50. Next list I would have to do 29 not, 30 not, 31 not, 32 not, 30, 35 will be the next one. So 35 and 40. And I think this is the exhaustive list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Using my number theory logic a little bit, I get 2 cube into 5 square into 7. So 4 into 3 into 2, yes, 24 factors. All 24 factors have been identified. Now, x and x plus 10 both have to be natural numbers or at least whole numbers. So value x plus 10 has to take one of these values. X plus 10 has to take one of these values. So for this fraction to arrive at something, what if x was 270? See, this checking I am able to do because I've done it earlier also. If x was 270, so 270 plus 10, 270 plus 10 will get me to 280, which would give me this fraction's value as 5. So 140 minus 5, 135. Yes, this is a possible case. X 270 and y equal to 135 is a possible case. Then we rule out 270 because number of seats is not that high. So this goes away. The next case we check is 140 minus 25. There is a 25 that can be removed. So for removing 25, x has to be equal to 46. So that x plus 10 is equal to the 56. If x plus 10 is equal to 56, then y is equal to 115. Yes, this is an acceptable case. Then we go on to do it. Hopefully you realize this processing becomes progressively untenable when you have a larger number involved. With 625, it was easy. It was some power of a prime number. But for 1400, because it has multiple primes involved and it is a fairly large number, listing out all the factors and doing the processing was more difficult. What was easier to do was difference between the numerator and the denominator and looking at the ratio terms. That is much easier to figure out. Hopefully you learned something. That will be all for this set.